there was no paired senator or representative to actually put forth a formal objection to the certification of that vote. It didn't happen.
Okay. So
y'all hear it. It's nowhere for him to go. He's cornered. He's cornered. He's a puppy with his tail behind his ass. He doesn't know what to do. Take off the hat, buddy. You are exposed.
There wasn't an effort coordinated by the sitting president to circumvent the outcome of the election like there was with this one.
Right.
When you're saying an effort to circumvent, I'm sorry, I missed.
No, you heard him. You just don't know what the to say because you don't know. You stupid position to have. You guys pick stupid places to lay your hat down, and then you have to defend it, and you look like this. You look like this.
You know what I'm saying? Drop a like, leave a comment, let me know you're in here. We finna have fun tonight.
What now? Logic's back with another one. Today we're going to look at Destiny go against another content creator. His name is Logical or something like that. Good Logic or something like that. I forgot his real name. I think his name is Joe or something like that. But he's another content creator, MAGA apparently. And Destiny just took the gloves off with this guy, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it just is the prime, perfect, exemplary personification of a Trump supporter and how uninformed, ignorant, and dishonest these people can be. Not all, but they can be. The most staunch Trump supporters have the least information, but go the hardest. And the exposure that y'all about to see is just unmatched, and I just love it. So we have to go over it. Before we do that, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, if not one, then all three. Now, let's get to the video.
Do you see how convenient it is that we have to actually invent new language to describe what Trump actually meant? But for Biden, we have to ignore what he actually said and then invent whole new meaning there.
You mean like peacefully and patriotically that you invented that was a way of saying attack and that's the insurrection?
Hold on. That was an hour-long speech. He called to fight 10 times in this speech. Why would I take the one time where he says, "I know you'll be marching down to the Capitol," where they all happen to march down to the Capitol and then engage in a riot? Was that a coincidence?
And you can find every political leader on the left and the right saying fight, 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 fight. You can find video montages of them saying fight and fight. He said, "We're going to fight for our rights." That's not saying go in there and blow up a building or kill people.
Give me one other time where they have called for a massive amount of people to go to an area knowing that there was going to be no, not peacefully and patriotically.
He said peacefully and patriotically.
Oh, so what? All of them misheard the message?
No, what I'm saying is
no. How did a riot happen?
It is funny how they harp on this peacefully and patriotically stuff. Like they hang on to that for dear life because that's the only thing he said in the speech that somewhat sounds peaceful considering what happened after. And all the other shit in the hour-long speech gets ignored because he said peacefully and patriotically, and somehow everybody went down there and wrecked shop at the fucking Capitol. Like he said, they didn't understand the message. Everybody's confused. Like something went wrong. Somebody got their wires crossed. Well, not somebody. Thousands of people got their wires crossed clearly.
That's what he said. Are all of them too stupid to understand English and they just happened to engage in a riot? Explain how that happened.
First and foremost,
you're not going to explain it.
And not only that, they got there riled up based off of a lie. You got them riled up. They came there riled up, and you said, if you don't fight for like hell, you're going to lose your country. Honestly, I don't know why these people don't own it, because if you really felt like your country was being stolen from you and the election got stolen, you should be down there raising hell. Like, I ain't gonna do that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not doing that shit. I ain't gonna say I don't care, but I'm gonna make my voice heard in another way. So, but I wouldn't blame people for being there if they truly thought the election was being stolen from them. So if them people truly thought the election was being stolen from them, they went down there ready to raise hell, as they should. But you know what? They were lied to. That's the problem. And y'all let it ride and let this man fucking run for president again because, hey, MAGA.
You're just going to keep dancing around it.
No, I think some of them got violent and that they shouldn't have gotten violent. Does that mean that he's telling them to get violent?
Some.
So it was a coincidence.
No, it's not a coincidence.
It sounds like you're saying it's a coincidence. I don't think they should have got violent, but they got violent. You know, he told them to go peacefully, patriotically, but they got violent. That sounds like a coincidence.
So what happened? So he sent them down there, and the people that he riled up and sent down there, they got violent? Why?
What does that even mean? I don't understand the words.
What? Yeah, now the English language fails you to describe the most obvious thing in the world.
What do you mean? What does that mean? It was clear English.
And the people that he riled up and sent down there, they got violent? Why?
What is that?
The people he riled up and sent down there to get violent, why? What does that mean? Bro, that was clearly English.
Even mean? I don't understand the words.
What? Yeah, now the English language fails you to describe the most obvious thing in the world.
What is when he says go down peacefully and patriotically?
He didn't say go down peacefully and patriotically. You're inventing words. He said, I know you'll be going down there soon and peacefully and patriotically making your voices heard.
So what part did I make up then?
He didn't say.
That's being nitpicky with the word choices, because Destiny, you'll interpret words, a meaning behind something without using the correct exact verbiage too. So that was a little bit nitpicky, but nonetheless, the point stands. He said more than that, so that's why it happened.
Go peacefully and patriotically. He didn't say that. He never ordered anybody to be peaceful.
He said so, and you talk about how he said fight 10 times, and he said one of those times is he said, "Oh, this."
He said you got to fight like hell, or you're going to lose your country.
Yeah, you got to fight like hell, or you're going to lose your country, which is the exact same language that we've heard from Hillary Rodham Clinton.
I think politicians do say fight, but I don't think I'm not familiar with politicians saying fight like hell or you're going to lose your country. That type of fear is different than saying our side wants to win, so we have to fight. Yes, they do say that, but that's different than fight like hell or you're going to lose your country. That's a different type of fear. That's why people get into military mode and why they storm a Capitol and shit like that. That's different. Fight like hell or you're going to lose your country. If you say I'm going to lose my country, I'm probably going to be more motivated to do something I wouldn't normally do just to fight to win an election. Those are two totally different types of concepts.
We've heard that from Schumer. We've heard that from Obama. We've heard that from every
so then
political
can I find
leader,
there
from
people
Biden.
marching down to a federal building to stop an election?
Why is it that when he says fight like hell, because of this context, all of a sudden he's starting insurrection?
Because of this context, because the context of this situation matters. You just named all these people, but yet nobody else had people march to the Capitol and try to overturn the government and say kill the vice president. This never happened before. So yes, this context is different.
Because after he said it for the first time in U.S. history, we had to delay the certification of our vote because he was trying to overturn the outcome of the election. And there's no other example of that happening.
Right.
When he's trying to ensure, I'll tell you right now, the reason MAGA is there. The reason MAGA is there is because he called them there because he lied to them for over a year that the election was false. For over a year.
Yeah, he was
saying... The election happened 2 months earlier.
Yeah, and 12 months before that, he was saying...
Oh, yeah, so you're just unaware of the whole fucking year he was... telling them it was going to be stolen from the jump. He kept saying it the whole time. Telling them don't vote by mail. All that shit. You just ignore that. The election was only 2 months. Yeah, but for a year, he was getting them ready to think that it was going to be stolen. And they listen. I don't know why. I just wish the luxury of just living in a world that doesn't exist. It just sounds great. And I guess that's why they just stay in there.
Mail-in ballots are going to be rigged.
Oh, that was the same thing that Jerry Nadler had said and that Chuck Schumer had said. And everyone had said that mail-in ballots were the most distrustable
The difference is that when
Democrats
Democrats made that contention, they were doing it to state bodies that then ensured the integrity of their machines. One of the big criticisms prior to this that gets cited a lot is Democrats saying, we're not sure if we trust the way that these machines work, so all of them were disconnected from the internet for the elections. They weren't able to be accessed online. They were saying things. There was not a single thing that Donald Trump ever said to make mail-in ballots more secure.
Yep. What do you mean? He just shitted on them. He didn't want them to be secure. He just said, don't do it. Fucking idiot.
What does that
Just
mean?
what I said. What part of what I just said did you not understand? Donald Trump didn't...
Why does he not understand English all of a sudden? Like, what the fuck? You've been talking... This interview is long. You've been talking for a while. Why you don't understand English?
Say a single way to improve the mail-in ballot system. He said we need to ban all of it.
What words could any human have said that would have made that mail-in ballots more secure?
I don't know. We could change the authentication process on how we send...
Was there an authentication process? Because it seemed like there wasn't.
Notice
one.
how you just pivoted because you were so fucking wrong with what you just said? Donald Trump didn't spend a single ounce of effort. You know why he did that? Because he knew that Democrats would take it more seriously to all the COVID restrictions and to mail-in.
Really?
Why are you looking at me like you don't understand? He said multiple times, show up and vote on that day. Go down on that day and vote. We know the Dems are going to to use mail-in ballots, and we know all the mail-in ballots are going to be rigged. And in every single case where they tried to present evidence, most of it bullshit, that it was rigged, it all failed.
Really?
Yes, really.
Most of the cases every case that they brought in that showed BS, first of all, that's not true. As more and more time is going on, we're actually finding more evidence.
That is absolutely not true.
And look, I bet you he's not going to actually name any of it.
Second statement to qualify you for antipsychotics. You're delusional. That is not true.
Really?
We have never found evidence of widespread voter fraud or anything enough to be outcome determinative.
You just changed outcome determinative. All of a sudden, we're just introducing, widespread, outcome determinative.
Because that's the only voter fraud that matters.
What? Why would I care about voter fraud if it won't change the vote? If it isn't gonna change the outcome of a state or the winner, why the fuck do I care? Nobody in the history of ever has said there is no such thing as voter fraud. Nobody is saying it doesn't exist or it doesn't happen or mistakes. Motherfucker, the point is if it's enough to change the election, which it never seems to turn out to be. To my understanding, the Gore Bush one is the closest one that might have changed the election, I think. But I don't even think it was a fraud issue. It was an issue. But regardless, that's all. We passed it. It is what it is. And we don't have to worry about them running again. So, but the problem is nobody cares unless it's outcome determinative. And they catch the mistakes. You think the fact that they catch mistakes and they report them, they haven't. The funny thing about this is, they act like they be saying there's 0% voter fraud. They've never said that. There's never been an instance of them saying like there's not one singular case of voter fraud. But they tell you that it is. It just doesn't change anything. And they catch it. And I'm sure when they catch it, if it changed it, they would have to go back and do some shit. But it's never going to change anything. So, and the fact that they act like it's just this rampant issue is just insane. Another part of the reason why they just... y'all, 2 videos ago.
Not my grandma might have written her name wrong, or some guy voted in favor of his dad who didn't know he got the ballot.
What about the authentication process, which all of a sudden authentication processes traditionally had always knocked out roughly 7% of all ballots, and in 2020 knocked out less than 1%. How is that possible? Tell me how that's logically possible.
Sure, hold on.
There was no authentication process.
Can your mind explore for one moment why that might be the case?
Because they decided we're not going to have an authentication process.
Oh, then how were 1% rejected?
I said less than 1%.
How were any rejected if there was no process? No, because what you just said was ridiculous. What you just said was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Why? You think every ballot place did the exact same thing?
No, I didn't say every ballot place did the exact same thing.
Less than 1% means that a handful of places were doing it, but by and large,
so some were. What are you even saying?
I'm saying that 6.5%. I'm saying roughly 6% of things that should have been knocked out were never knocked out. That would have been knocked out in any other election.
That's not how numbers or stats work, right?
That's not how numbers or stats work.
Traditionally, mail-in ballots were used for some exceptional circumstances.
Yes.
You either can't get to a polling place, you request a ballot,
yes.
You're military overseas or whatever, right? On a case where you have the mail-in ballot rate maybe going up 100 times,
yes.
Why would you expect the error rate to stay the exact same when your cohort is changing dramatically in character?
I would expect it to go up dramatically because these are people doing...
You don't understand.
No, logic.
You don't understand.
Logic.
No.
Just use logic.
It's not. No, you're not using logic. You don't understand stats or numbers. You're not using logic.
Well, relax for a second. Think for a second.
It's hard to be relaxed when you're talking to people like this. Like, that's why y'all just, like... Y'all see how I get, like, and I'm not even talking to this person in real life, but it's beyond frustrating to talk to people that are so removed from reality or just willfully ignorant. It's like, this shit is exhausting and it makes you this irate. I understand this energy. It's just, it's almost unsurmountable to overcome that feeling of I don't want to say anger because it might not necessarily be anger, but frustration, you know?
The people who vote every time in mail-in ballots, they're more accustomed to the process. They're less likely to make an error in the process. When you have millions and millions of first-time persons using it, does it not make sense that there would be a higher error rate rather than a lower error rate?
No.
Okay.
You don't even know if the people who use mail-in ballots use them all the time.
Okay.
I don't do the military, but my understanding...
I don't think... Am I uninformed guess? I would think that more people are using it during COVID. Yes. Does that mean it might be more errors? Possibly. But I think that younger people, because you're going to have younger people using it at that point because they they're less likely to go out during COVID. So it's going to be some younger, I believe it's probably older and military people using it most often. So if younger people are using it, they're more accustomed to taking their time to make sure to do stuff right. Or, I mean, this isn't technology, but they're going to read that shit thoroughly. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the time to read shit thoroughly and not make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? We learn stuff at a younger people are learning stuff at a younger age, I should say. So they're learning their engagement with the world around them. They're learning it younger than some of the shit that, you know, millennials learned and shit like that. So I don't necessarily think that because there's more people is going to be dramatically more. I'm not mad at his train of thought, though. I'm not mad at that, but I don't believe that's necessarily the thing. I don't believe that.
Isn't the average military contract like 5 years? Isn't that like an average military contract? In that case, they probably only do one mail-in ballot. So it wouldn't surprise me.
You're assuming that military, the only former people actually doing.
My guess is it's probably the large. Somebody can Google it. That's be my guess is that's probably the largest cohort of people that do the mail-in ballots. Probably military people.
Okay.
Do you acknowledge that Donald Trump was trying to direct his DOJ to lie to states about investigations? Do you think that's?
I wasn't there. What are you referencing?
When Donald Trump was telling his Department of Justice that I need you guys to send letters out to 7 different states saying that we found a lot of evidence of voter fraud. So
I think he got frantic down the stretch there. I think a lot of things he
frantic.
Did, I think a lot of things he did there.
Does he say frantic?
So then,
I think would you agree?
What type of characterization is that? Frantic. So I tried to lie. I tried to get people to lie for me to change the election. That was frantic. Frantic is getting up saying on the stage at your concession speech, like, I really think that America made a mistake and I wish I should have won. That's a bit frantic of a decision to make. But to gather up a group of people to lie to the whole country and say you won an election you didn't, he calls that frantic.
That I need you guys to send letters out to 7 different states saying that we found a lot of evidence of voter fraud. So
I think he got frantic down the stretch there. I think a lot of things he
frantic.
Did, I think a lot.
You see what I'm saying? Like, look at the lengths these people go to defend bullshit. Like, these lengths to defend isn't. Oh God, I never want to be like this. This is crazy.
The things he did there are things he should not have done.
So then, would you agree that they were? Would you agree that they were authoritarian in nature?
I don't know. I wouldn't call that authoritarian. No.
In nature,
I wouldn't call it authoritarian.
Okay, so
that's the operative term in that sentence. In nature. When
it's authoritarian if there's punishment if you fail to abide by it.
See, he's trying to be technical. The point in nature is not about if he's an authoritarian, so therefore everything that would fall under what authoritarianism is, if it didn't happen, is not authoritarian. That's not the point. The point is that type of behavior authoritarian in nature?
Punishment came to anyone who failed to.
Like, I may not be a dictator to my kids, but in nature, if I'm telling them what they can and can't do at all, or not my kids, that's a bad example. My wife, there's no decisions to be made between you and I. I'm making the decisions. It doesn't matter what you think or say. Your input will be heard but not considered. This is what's happening and deal with it. In nature, that's dictatorial. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm a dictator.
To abide by something that he had.
Authoritarianism is only when punishment?
Well, if I tell you right now, go outside and go to your bank and give me $1,000, and you say, go F yourself, in that case, that no one would say I'm being authoritarian.
It's different. Y'all just 2 individuals with no... He doesn't have you. There's no power structure in that.
Period.
What if you tell me? What if you tell me if I don't do it, you're going to fire me and then find someone else who will?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's totally different.
Fine. And what came first? I don't know how we know.
Really conceded. No fine. I want to really concede
because there's testimony from like 20 different people.
Is this what we're going with the J6 hearing? Is that where we're
I'm not going with the J6 hearing. I'm going from testimony from Steve Engel. I'm going from testimony from Rosen, from testimony from Donahue, from testimony from Hirschman, from testimony from Giuliani, Sidney Powell. What do you mean?
I don't know.
People you want to talk about?
I don't know which statements.
Oh, you don't trust any of those people.
I didn't say that. You just threw words in my mouth. You literally just took a sentence and threw. What I said is I literally don't know about that because I never was looking at that. You're throwing.
I just love how you just can choose to just ignore shit that makes Trump look bad. I don't know about it. I don't know. but you support him staunchly. You support him, but you don't know the bullshit he engaged in. Just so lovely.
At me this data point, which you're basically saying these are things he said.
What do you think it means that you don't know? You don't.
What I'm saying is,
I
was not following that element.
Right. You don't care about the fact that the president of the United States tried. You had all these things to say to Merrick Garland, but you don't care that the president of the United States trying to order his DOJ to lie to states for the outcome of an election.
I wasn't there for that. When did this come out?
Why don't you know any of this information? This isn't a secret. You're in politics and you're on YouTube. I don't know if you do it full time, but he does YouTube. Why don't you know this? What the fuck?
It was part of the whole J6 committee.
Oh, the J6. Oh, that's what it is. So, yeah, I didn't follow the J6 committee.
Okay, because you don't give a fuck about like
because I to make Trump look bad, you're gonna ignore it. That's why.
For the election. So when you say Merrick Garland is corrupt, your words are hollow and meaningless. They don't mean anything.
What I'm saying is I didn't follow anything on the J6 committee because that started. It was
because it was attacking
committee.
Daddy Trump.
It was
He's your cult leader,
committee,
and you feel bad and weird when they're attacking Daddy cult leader.
You think this is being clever when I established early on here that there's a lot of things he says and does that I disagree with, including things he did
and I've
between
debated
November.
Hassan and other people that use this weird tactic. I didn't agree with it. I'm not asking if you agree with it, if you like it. I don't know why you're even giving me that opinion.
Right.
I'm asking how you feel about it in terms of authoritarianism or legality.
This is the jump that you did. This is you're not following you're basically trying to jump from one thing to another, desperately trying to like make score points, and I'm actually trying to have a conversation.
It's not really score points. It's this dishonest. Well, at this point, I don't even know if it's dishonesty. Right now, it's just this shameless naivety that shouldn't be excused. Like this level of ignorance isn't acceptable for somebody that's going hard for Trump. You're defending him at every turn, yet you don't know about the most implicating information about him. You're literally saying, I don't know anything about all the shit that makes him look bad, but yet I'm going to defend him to the utmost. That's ridiculous. That's I don't know why anybody would be. You say he's making shit up and getting high energy and shit. Like I would too. I am right now. Like that shit is annoying.
Okay, here, let me be very clear about my line
especially when it's the fact that we're talking about the person that you voted for to be the president. It's not just that we have a differing opinion on something that we both have no control over. Yes, we don't have control over the president, but you played a part, and especially if you have a YouTube channel, you got an audience and shit. Like you're literally playing a part in lifting up somebody that could be detrimental to your own well-being and the people that support you. Like that's the problem. It's not just that you just don't know. It's like you don't know, but yeah, you have a voice. That shit is crazy.
No, you're saying I'm jumping. I'm not just because I'm bringing up something you don't have an answer to doesn't mean I'm jumping. You're just falling behind. So
that's true because this whole conversation has followed. There's a path to where this conversation went. It is not jumping. You just literally don't know anything, and that's your excuse to cop out of it.
No. I'm not falling behind. You're changing the landscape as to what it is that we're talking about. I start talking to you about an issue with respect to that, and I admit to you that I don't think he did everything properly and with respect to between November and
yes, we call that equivocation.
That's not equivocation.
That's equivocating.
You call that authoritarian.
When I say he's doing something authoritarian that is breaking the law, probably should be great. And you say he did some things that were kind of called equivocation.
No, I'm not equivocating. I'm saying the issues that you're bringing up. I don't even know anything about them. Why don't I know about them? Because I didn't watch January 6th. Then you use that as a basis to try and attack me and saying I didn't watch January 6th instead of asking me why didn't you watch J6? And you come to what you have to do is to try to win a point.
Bro.
You try and say, oh, you didn't watch January 6th because it was attacking Daddy Trump. You see, you're trying to characterize and label me and put me in a box.
I am jumping. You're right, because I understand you're going to say I didn't watch J6 because that committee was put together in an illegal manner because Pelosi didn't include people from the Republican Party in a proper way to put together a committee. I know all the dumb talking points.
You're again.
Tell me what I'm wrong about. Tell me. Okay, then tell me why it was illegal.
That is what most people say, but let's see if he gets around that. That is the go-to for people that say they felt like, the committee was put together improperly.
To go.
Okay, tell me where you're going to go. Tell me where you're going to go.
What I'm saying is there's no cross-examination.
I feel like that was a cop-out. I think he was going to talk about how the committee was put together, and since Destiny called him on it, he pulled out something else out his ass. no cross-examination is crazy. You know why? Because how do you know about no cross-examination, but yet you didn't follow the January 6th stuff? You've been ignorant to everything about January 6th committee. You've been ignorant to everything about January 6th and all the evidence against him and these testimonies from all the co-conspirators and all that shit. But you're talking about they didn't have a cross-examination when this wasn't even a fucking court case. It wasn't in court. The committee wasn't a court. But you know that there was no cross-examination of evidence. But you didn't know nothing. You claim ignorance to everything about January 6th, but you knew that information. These people are full of shit, bro.
There's no evidence coming forward. There's no opportunity by the other side to examine any of the evidence that's being presented, which is what you would have.
And what's the other side? People that was implicated in the crimes? What the fuck? Like, this is a committee. This isn't a court case with a judge and jury and a prosecutor and defendant. Like, what the fuck? What is the cross-examination? They pull up evidence and then they show it. Like, no, bro.
Have in any standard type of...
The evidence is the fact that them motherfuckers did that shit. That's the evidence. And they did it out in the open.
Normal proceeding, which is going to be antagonistic to a particular individual.
It's not. It's not a court case. There is no cross-examination.
Oh,
court
okay.
case.
Right?
So
That's like,
case
what the fuck are you talking about? Like, cross-examination of a committee.
It's proven that you're saying but you're using their conclusions as if they prove a point for you. So don't tell me that.
Excuse me, hold on. Just because something is not proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a
not
criminal
proven
court
at
of law,
all.
I understand.
At all.
No, see, now the standard is if it only happens in court, then it's valid. That's the only thing that matters under the sun. Only the things that happen in court is what we can use. That's bullshit. That's not even how we operate in the real world. We don't just only base things. We base the court off if somebody is guilty, innocent, not guilty, all that shit, the legal terms. That has nothing to do with effect. Those aren't, being convicted in court has nothing to do with effect.
Oh,
Nobody.
No, there's zero proof. That's what I mean. It's zero proof.
So it's either in criminal court or nothing.
No, it's not criminal court or nothing.
That's basically what you just said. You said...
What I'm saying is there's at least a chance for the other side to examine the claims that are being presented.
How does that disprove the facts? The other side seeing evidence has nothing to do with effect of people that was involved testifying, saying, I don't want to use legal terms, admitting to what they did involving this whole plot.
And you know what their examination sounded like? It sounded like this. 2 words. It was I plead the fifth, and the second was, I need absolute criminal immunity for everything I did as president. That was their examination of the other side. You can lean your head down all you want.
I don't even know.
That man don't know where to go. That's why he's leaning his head down. He's so flustered. He's out of there. He's nowhere to go.
Okay, because you're jump again. Now you're trying to find some sort of way of legitimizing the J6 thing. Even though, do you disagree with me that there should be a right to examine the evidence?
There was. Pelosi
Really?
gave an opportunity for 5 conservative members to join that committee, and they said no.
5 that she would choose.
No, that's not
Yes,
true.
how
she
it
didn't let
happened.
Jim Jordan on
That's
there.
not how it
Denied
happened.
2 of the 5 picks.
Why?
3 would have been
Why?
allowed because they were directly implicated by that investigation.
Oh, were they?
Yes, they were. Yes.
How could she know that before there's a committee to actually conduct the
Because you
investigation?
guys are so fucking shameless. You did it all out in the open and in public. Because people like Jim Jordan are literally publicly trying to circumvent our electoral process. It's not hard to figure it
Destiny's turning red.
out.
Jim Jordan was publicly circumventing the
Yes,
process.
when they were saying things like, we will join you in Congress to resist the certification of the vote, and we will join you in trying to make sure that this election isn't certified by Pence via the ECA or whatever.
Crazy.
Yes.
You mean like what happened in 2016, right?
Really?
Oh my fucking God. These people, like, this level of dishonesty is crazy, bro. Like, can you imagine? I don't feel like thinking of a fucking example, analogy, but y'all see, like, all of, get like they did in 2016. Bro, there's nothing about 2016 that can compare to what the fuck was going on with 2020.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who objected? Who objected? Who objected?
Oh,
nobody
Crockett.
did. Nobody did. They
Crockett
talked
got up
about it,
there.
but you have to pair your objections with one person in the Senate and one person in the House,
Right.
and there was no formal objection process, which never happened. So that comparison was bullshit. Thank you.
Why is that? Why is that?
Why is that? Why? I'm scrambling, scramble.
Because there was no paired senator or representative to actually put forth a formal objection to the certification of that vote. It didn't happen.
Okay. So
Y'all hear it. It's nowhere for him to go. He's cornered. He's cornered. He's a puppy with his tail behind his ass. He doesn't know what to do. Take off the hat, buddy. You are exposed.
your point as far as that there wasn't an effort for them to try and step in the way of it, or
there wasn't an effort coordinated by
he doesn't know what he did. I don't even know what the fuck he just said.
That there wasn't an effort for them to try and step in the way of it. Or
there wasn't an effort coordinated by the sitting president to circumvent the outcome of the election like there was with this one.
Right.
When
Let
you're
him talk,
saying
Destiny.
an effort to circumvent, I'm sorry, I missed the.
No, you heard him. You just don't know what the fuck to say because you don't know. It's a stupid position to have. You guys pick stupid places to lay your hat down, and then you have to defend it, and you look like this.
And to break procedure with the Electoral Count Act, or to get enough people to object to certification that they could delay it indefinitely.
He definitely was trying to.
So that they could delay it indefinitely, kick it down the road, and remain president for another 4 years.
What he was looking for is he was looking to get that electoral count under 270 so that they could turn over to kind of a constitutional convention, turn over to the states, and have each of the states vote based one vote per state. That was the plan.
Which would have been stealing. That was one of the plans. That would have been stealing the election.
That's your position. I think
that's your position. Fuck out of here, bro. There's no proof of voter outcome determinative voter fraud. He would have been stealing the election. He would have been stealing the election. That would have been stealing the election.
It's an interesting legal position.
It's
that
not
we will
an
never
interesting legal position. No, it's just a way to break the fucking law.
Legal position
that we will never ever know the answer to, and
we never would have known it anyway.
I just love how that's interesting, but these people be ready to call Joe Biden crime family and all this shit with no proof. They just say shit about people they don't like that with no proof to back it up. That's crazy. And all my positions I have against Trump, I can prove why. You guys say all this shit about Joe Biden and there's no proof of it, but then the reason there's no proof is because everybody's corrupt and everybody clearly loves Joe Biden so much because they want to defend him with their life, when clearly a lot of people, even on the left, don't really care about Joe Biden enough to defend his honor. Like, y'all will suck Trump's dick in death, but the moment he does something wrong, you overlook it. Like, it's just, the shit is...
we never will, because there was a new law that went into effect because apparently the Democrats were afraid that Mike Pence actually had the authority.
That's strange because Mike Pence didn't feel that way,
yeah,
and neither did Trump or anybody else. Nobody felt like he had the authority.
Why didn't his own vice president feel like he could fucking change the outcome of the election? You think that was just by happenstance? He was like, I can't do that shit. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Y'all want me to lie to the entire country that I love? I'm sorry. I do believe that most politicians do that shit because they really care. I that may be a position that I hold by myself on an island, but I do think that majority of the people that step into politics care. I know there's probably some that don't, but I think most actually care. And you can't do everything the way you want to, but you're there to try to make things. Even those that disagree with me, I think they care. They just care differently. But nonetheless, if Mike Pence, as the VP, more tenured than Trump in politics, knows that he can't just say, I'm rejecting this shit because I'm the VP, he says, I can't do that. Why do y'all think that's just like, damn, wrong one? Like,
really? Apparently Eastman thought he had the authority.
No, he didn't.
Eastman's not a politician.
That's why he said. That's why when somebody references the Constitution when they're talking about a law, what they're telling you is they want to break the law because they think it's unconstitutional. Which is what I don't know where these confusing looks come from.
Because when you say, I don't even understand that phrase. Because if I say you have a First Amendment right to spout idiocy, that doesn't mean that I'm referencing the Constitution, and I'm not saying that you can break the law. That's why I don't understand.
If you're referencing a law and saying I think that this law is unconstitutional because you've got a constitutional right to do this, you're breaking the law. The wording in the documents in both memos was this is where we're going to break ways from the ECA, which was the law that dictated how the election
worked. ECA doesn't dictate law. This is a mistake that you're making.
ECA was a law. The ECA was a law.
ECA establishes policy. That's not law. There's a very significant distinction between policy and law. I think this is
the Electoral Count Act of 1887, later codified at Title III, Chapter 1, is a United States federal law that added to procedures set out in the Constitution of the United States for the counting of electoral votes following a presidential election. It's a way to establish policy. What the fuck you just say? It is in its unamended form. It's like Act is named by Congress 1817 is after dispute 1876 election, which several states committed competing slates of electors and divided Congress and saw deadlock for weeks. Close elections in 1880 and 84 have been again raised the possibility that with no formally established counting procedure in place, partisans in Congress might use the counting process to force a desired result. This is a fucking law. This is a law. Like he just lied. This is a law. It's not a policy. It's a fucking law. I can't believe this. And this is a lawyer, y'all. He's a lawyer. I don't know if you saw it at the beginning. His good logic. Like he's a lawyer.
This is where you're getting a little bit confused, respectfully, because it doesn't make sense to just sort of read in here. I'll ask you right now, if in fact Mike Pence did not have the authority to do that, why would the Congress?
This is not a real argument.
Why would Congress?
Like, this is what happens when you just are so cornered because you have a fucking terrible position that this is what happens. Like, he just saying shit now to hope to make some sense some way or to find something that he thinks he has one up on Destiny. He's a lawyer, so he probably tried to, that's probably why he said the ECA wasn't a law and said it's a way to stop policy or whatever the fuck. And now you're just saying she said this is not like you're not like he's just trying to move away from the problem.
Congress can pass laws for any number of reasons.
So why would they pass a law?
Argument.
Oh, so you knew where my argument was.
You're telling me I already know what your argument was. Yes,
so
it's the same defunct argument because the counter that I have is so much stronger. You're saying why did they pass a law to clarify language for something that might have been hazy or whatever? Then my question would be, if the language was so hazy, then why did Eastman and everybody else feel like they had to break ways with the ECA in order to do something?
Because it had never happened before.
No, because they wanted to break the law. They wanted to part ways. Well, hold on. I'm sorry. Your argument is even self-defeating. You said that they changed the language of the ECA. Why would that matter? It's just a policy.
It wasn't the ECA. No, they codified. There was a law they tried passing. They actually did pass.
Wasn't the update they made to the Electoral Count Act?
They passed a law after 2021.
Amending the Electoral Count Act, which is the same thing that Eastman wanted to break ways with. But I thought that was just a policy. So why would they even need to change it?
Well, it's actually an interesting question.
It's not an interesting question. It was obvious what was going on.
Not an interesting
they were trying to break
question.
the law to entrench Trump as president for another 4 years against the actual vote.
I apologize.
You're good.
I apologize for that. You having fun?
No.
Boy, your ass. Talk about you having fun. He know he wasn't having fun, and Destiny was ripping him a new fucking one, as per usual. But y'all know I'm not gonna extend this out any longer. That was very cathartic. But if you made it to this point in the video, make sure y'all leave a like, comment, sub. If not one, then all three, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Peace.